بالنصر وبالفرج جئناك بقلب منكسر ولسان بالشكوى لنج يا خالقنا يا رازقنا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continuing our series on the Qur'an correcting the Bible, we can already see that the Qur'an is in a state of both constant correction and interaction with biblical narratives, some of which we have already informed our audience of in our previous videos. Today we will be presenting perhaps one of the most obscure Quranic corrections of the Bible, namely the Tower of Babel and the origin of human languages. We read in Genesis 11, 1-9, "Now the whole earth had one language and few words, and as men migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to one another, 'Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly.' And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, 'Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.' And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, 'Behold, they are one people, and they have all one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do, and nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. Come, let us go down, and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.' So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city." The Bible's explanation for the existence of human languages is, seemingly, one of many biblical absurdities. Humanity in its entirety speaks a single language and has decided to build a tower that reaches the heavens. God sees this new city and is both perplexed and afraid at the sheer size and combined effort of humanity when building this tower. In Genesis 11:6, we read the following: "The Lord said, 'If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them.'" This is not out of the ordinary for biblical narratives, often anthropomorphizing God and limiting him. God became angry, came down, and scattered humanity over the face of the earth, confusing their tongues, leading to the creation of the languages of the earth. In Genesis 11:9, we read the following: "Therefore its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth." The author of Genesis was very clearly mistaken when trying to explain both the origins of human languages and the etymology of the city of Babylon. Genesis states that the name Babel is derived from the Hebrew verb balal, which means to confuse. The actual etymology of the word Babylon, however, is derived from the Akkadian Bab Ilim, which translates to Gate of God. Additionally, no expert today will entertain the idea of the origins of human languages being a curse from around 2200 to 2300 BCE, which is a rough estimation of the Tower of Babel event, as we have actual evidence of other languages prior. An example is hieroglyphics attested around 3000 BCE. This is a clear-cut error. We will now present the Qur'an's correction of this biblical absurdity. We read in Surah Ar-Rum, chapter 30, verse 22, "And one of his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and colors. Surely in this are signs for those of sound knowledge." Some argue that the Qur'an is directly referring to the Tower of Babel in Surah An-Nahl, chapter 16, verse 26. "Indeed, those before them had plotted, but Allah struck at the very foundation of their structure, so the roof collapsed on top of them, and the torment came upon them from where they did not expect." Although there is no ijma' consensus, and we are not bound by this interpretation, nevertheless it is undeniable, given the immense knowledge of the previous scriptures that the Qur'an is familiar with, and which no academic denies, that it is unaware of this story, and if the Prophet was merely taking biblical stories for himself, there is no reason why he should disagree with the Babel origin of languages. Thus, the Bible is wrong on the origin of languages, and the Qur'an subtly corrects it, just as it corrected the Exodus and the Nineveh population numbers. The Qur'an corrects the Bible on the origins of human languages, completely avoiding the claim that it is the result of the collapse of a giant tower, while also being aware of this narrative's existence in Judeo-Christian tradition. The author of this book is very obviously deeply aware of the Bible and especially the Genesis narratives, as is admitted by all scholars of Islamic history, both Muslim and non-Muslim alike. Thus, for it to explicitly mention languages as a gift rather than a curse from God cannot be viewed as merely a coincidence. We must admit that the Quran disagrees with the Bible on the origin of languages and sees itself rectifying this narrative, and that yet again it comes on the correct side of history. وآخر الدعوانا والحمد لله رب العالمين.